We have all sat around a bonfire and listened to old folklore, tales of ghosts, the supernatural, and things that go bump in the night. Whether we shrug them off or they keep us up at night, there's no denying that spooky stories hold a place in our lives. But what happens when these stories become real-life occurrences? So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 mysterious stories. The Policeman and the Witch. On January 16, 2004, in Guadalupe, Mexico, Leonardo Samaniego was minding his own business on patrol as a policeman when he experienced something completely inhuman. It was a dark night and Leonardo was driving his patrol car as he made a turn onto a dark street when some distance up ahead of him, he saw something dark and large fall from a tree. The figure started to float towards the police car, and he could now see it lit up by the car's headlights. It appeared to be a witch-like figure that had black eyes, a black tunic, and a cape. It covered its eyes and face with its claws, but continued towards the car, not stopping at all, and hit the car with force. At this point, Leonardo was heard on the police radio asking for backup, and trying to shake the figure loose by steering back and forth on the road. The figure thrashed on top of the car, trying to break the windshield. Amid this emergency, the policeman crashes his car and loses consciousness. Sometime later, the backup he requested arrived at the scene, and reporters and his colleagues interviewed him to report what had occurred. He stated, "It was a woman, all dressed in black, that fell from the tree, but she didn't touch the ground, just remained floating several feet from the ground. I saw her very well, and then she landed softly on the ground and stood there looking at me. She was trying to cover her face from the lights. I think they were bothering her." He was taken to the hospital and tested for hallucinogenics or any substance misuse, but no such substance was found in Leonardo's system. Through different interviews he goes on to say, "It was a woman with big black eyes. Everything was black. No eyelids. Her skin was dark brown and her expression was horrible. She was furiously trying to get me with her claws while I was driving away in reverse, calling desperately for backup assistance to any units around. When I finally hit the end of the street, I was so shocked that I covered my eyes, then I fainted." It's been determined that the entity that Leonardo had come across was similar to the Flatwoods monster case in the United States in 1952, but no official determination was ever made. A few years later, a group of investigators in the same area captured a video in which a figure that matches Leonardo's detailed description was found, 2 years later. People report this floating figure sightings, but no ghost hunters nor police officers can solve this case. Navajo police encounters with the paranormal. Arizona is full of desolate, lonely, desert environment, and the police who patrol it are used to some strange but regular occurrences. But sometimes some things that they experience are genuinely out of this world. The Navajo Reservation in Arizona has had a long history of strange and supernatural reports. Going beyond this kind of thing that law enforcement deals typically with, these reports can include a Bigfoot, ghosts, UFOs, skinwalkers, and other mysterious creatures. Instead of shrugging off these filings, the Navajo Reservation assigned a special branch of their department to investigate these exceptional cases. Luckily for us, they shared some stories of their findings and encounters with the supernatural. The team is called the Navajo Nation Rangers, and the group is made up of specially trained officers assigned to the task. They're also assigned to national parks, archaeological sites, and wildlife services. Their paranormal cases make up less than 1% of their total cases, but they're taken very seriously by the department when they're reported. John Dover and his partner Stanley Milford explain some of the cases they have covered. Dover and Milford have covered some strange circumstances, but some in particular stand out. Many of the most bizarre accounts they've come across have to do with UFOs. A recluse who lived out in the desert came to the agency to say that he had seen a UFO land. The rangers set off to look at the site and found circular holes near the house where the man said the UFO had landed. a mother and daughter pair spotted blue, orange and white lights over the desert in 2012. They watched the lights for a while before they disappeared, leaving behind a boom that knocked out the power of the entire town. The investigative duo have seen some eerie sights themselves, like an aircraft they both saw, and were followed by a mysterious orb for half an hour. They've also experienced hauntings and supernatural activities in their own right. In a haunted home, coins suddenly started to fall from the ceiling to patter them like rain, even though there were no spaces they could have fallen through. There's also a haunted place where they saw objects levitating through the air and dishes and plates exploding on their own for no reason. Dover said they've also investigated Bigfoot claims. They found samples, footprints, stride distances, and logs pulled out of the area and removed. He notes that ordinary people wouldn't have been able to do that. The team sees everything, from alleged ghost cases to supernatural events they've witnessed in real life, but they say that one of the weirdest experiences they had is when they think they encountered a skinwalker. They mentioned they saw a man on a desolate stretch of the road outside of town, and he was entirely out of it. He was howling and looked pale like a ghost. He didn't respond to any questions and after a few moments suddenly dashed away. The two partners were convinced that they witnessed something supernatural because a few seconds later he got onto all fours and disappeared into the night. The haunted police station. Now that we've heard about police experiencing haunted situations, it's time for a story about the police station itself being haunted. The 13th Precinct Police Station at the Grand Crossing in Chicago is said to have a ghost. Many policemen refuse to stay the night in the squad room. Some will even not go up to the apartments upstairs after the sun goes down. This specific operation has been described as a silver-haired man with a cloaked face and floating garments. The year was 1898, and Sergeant William Clancy had just transferred to the Stockyard District. He was seated at his desk at a midnight reading, when something brushed past and touched his cheek, vanishing upstairs. The officer looked up the stairs hurriedly, where he saw the outline of an old man whose steps were silent. When he looked back, the figure was gone. The men who worked at the station often didn't sleep. They all knew to keep up on the happenings of this mysterious old ghost. There were many apparitions and supernatural occurrences, telephones ringing, switchboxes clicking. The lives of police officers can be risky by merely having a job on the force, but as we've seen today, there's much to be frightened of, more so than the crime. These three mysterious stories are scary enough, but the most terrifying part of these is they're all said to be true. So what do you make of these mysterious stories? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community whilst working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.